one that's already live. There we go. It is live.
Solid.
Where's my phone? Where did I put my phone? What's right there? Okay. And that's the first thing they see. That is perfect.
Nice.
Yep. Mhm.
It's a beautiful beginning. All right. Tell us about your black hole.
Okay. So let's have the discussion of the black holes. So,
We'll just start completely over.
yeah. Let me use black because I like black. I'm just savage like that. Okay. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, black holes and whatnot. We got stuff like space, that exist. Uh, on the fabric of our universe, we'll say. Black holes are just these little black objects that suck in everything that goes into it. Everything, every conceivable thing will go into it. Um, yeah, my idea of black hole though is that yeah, because they don't know what happens with a black hole, and so we're trying to discuss just logistical thinking and stuff like that, different theories and stuff. Um, my theory is I don't know. I just know the basic physics of it, which is that it's a it's a point in space time. Oh, shit, I can't even draw right. Hold on.
We'll just call this the grid of space.
Yeah, so we got. Wait, I can use
You're gonna
object.
turn it into a grid.
No, I can use objects though, like this.
Ah, it's like I'm playing a harp. Na, 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 na.
You know what? I'll just grab a picture. Hold on. Let me delete this.
Just gonna grab pictures. Cheater.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any. Oh, found a black hole gif. It's eating everything.
Okay.
what is what is this? Oh.
And then go here. Just okay. I have no clue what that is, but
Look, he's got his tongue out.
let's get that on.
Man's just creepy.
So we'll say this our graph. Uh, well, um, so as we all know, space and time are on these axes. We are all constrained by this. This is the fabric of space time. They're all contrived by. Now here's where things get difficult. Oh, I didn't mean to make copies. Okay, there's the original. I will make a copy though and keep it to the side. Keep it over here.
Yeah.
So just make sure not to mess with this. Oh shit.
Tells me not to touch it. Continues to touch it.
But so we're all constrained by the factors of space and time. We all have to abide by the laws of physics. But when you get to certain points where you're so big, as a star is huge. It's very huge. And then all of a sudden, that star is like hey, I'm ready to dissipate, and it's ready to just go down. So a star will start to collapse, and the atoms will get so close to each other, and they'll compress and compress and compress and compress and compress until two things will happen. One, super explosion, where all of the gases are released, and that's actually how carbon was formed. That's how we as a society exist, is because of supernovas, as they're known as. Oh shit. Well,
Yeah.
at least we have a
One
backup.
exploded and then we just appeared on Earth.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Well,
the flat earthers.
yeah. Shout out to the flat earthers. um, but
Oh, you messed it up. I had it perfectly aligned. You destroyed everything I have worked for. There we go. It's not hard.
okay. Anyways, so but the other thing a star can do when it collapses is create a point at which it infinitely descends into infinity, as far as we understand it. It is so compressed, there's so much things inside of it in just one singularity. It's called the a space-time singularity. And it's only one little thing. It's like the densest thing that ever could exist. We don't know what it is, we don't know what it can do, but its gravity is so strong that it can pull light waves. It can pull in mass. It can pull in, I don't know, energy maybe. I'm not sure about that. Uh, that might be a flawed logic, but it can pull in energy. But well, energy can't
Sure
be
it
made or
could, because
destroyed, but it
energy
releases a
is a form
ton
of mass.
of energy itself because it's so strong, and so it also pulls in time because if it's pulling in space, it's also pulling in time because that's what it's doing. It's pulling in space and time. They're all shrinking infinitely into one singularity. And so everybody has their different theories, because like if you look at it through as like a graph piece of paper like this, right? And whenever you put a ball on it, it divots the paper, right? So this divots the paper infinitely to one point. That's why scientists call it a singularity, because, you know, it's all descending into one single point. We don't know what that point is. We don't know what it does. But it is full of energy, mass, and just everything. Hmm. So that's the logic behind a black hole as we understand it, pretty much. But then you come into the cool little aspects of a black hole, which are, um, clearly, if we have two black holes revolving around each other, they'll actually do this. So actually, this is a great object to explain what a black hole looks like to you. Or not to you, but what you would do when you get closer to a black hole. Well, we'll say if you're getting too close to a black hole that's revolving in a circle. Um, because say we have two black holes revolving around each other, which there were. There are two. There were two black holes that were found that were revolving around each other really fast because they got close enough and they just go faster and faster and faster and faster until they become one black hole again because like there's nothing else to go, so it just becomes one little bit bigger black hole. But as an observer, it releases these waves. So as a black hole revolves around its another black hole, it actually releases these waves of space and time moving. So we'll use this to represent waves. So Pretty much everything around here is just okay. I fucked it up. Move these out the way. Delete that.
It's all bueno. Easy fix.
Yeah, but like as a black hole revolves around another black hole, it makes these waves that'll start to hit other things, and they actually stretch and deform space time. So you, if you're close enough to as an absorber, say this is you. This is what your body would do, literally. Just in and out, just up and down. Like so, like when they say that you become spaghetti when you get near a black hole, they're saying that with the closer you are, say you're this close, like you get closer to a black hole, your body will like go so thin and so far, and just like this is your whole mass, but this is all just like being split up into look like that, and then it just keeps going and going and going. But yeah, that's another cool fact about black holes is that they distort space time when they revolve around two other black holes or another black hole. And fun fact, we're actually revolving around a black hole currently. Our universe is right next to is in the Milky Way galaxy, and at the center of the Milky Way is a black hole. And that's I don't know if that's the closest one to us, but I'd say that's the most visible one for us.
Yeah,
Which
definitely
is
is.
also a cool little factoid too, is that that's how they found out that the universe was a fabric and not space. Like you think when you look at the universe as a whole, you see it as you know pretty big. You think like you think maybe it looks like this, like a school, like a cube, even bigger than a cube. It just looks like a big circle, maybe even to you. But like it's a place where things exist. Well, the truth of the matter is that you can really think of the universe as a flat surface. The flat earthers aren't completely wrong. Um, it's
Nah,
not
flat earthers are
technically,
wrong. It's flat
yeah,
space. Correct.
yeah. So like, because space and time, space is bendy, and so is time. So this is like the fabric of the universe. This is what it would look like, kinda. Not technically, but like to an observer, it would just look like if you look out into the stars right now, if you were to look out, you would see it as a flat place. You literally see the outline of the clouds of the Milky Way if you're in a place where you can see that. And that's because to you as an observer, it literally just looks like a piece of sheet of paper. It doesn't look like it only encapsulates this sheet of paper, even though it can go out this far infinitely and that far infinitely. They cluster. All universes cluster towards each other, but then again, they're also moving away from each other because of the Big Bang, which made everything go farther away from each other. But at one point, everything was really close. That's actually a really good point to get into when it comes to aliens and stuff. The idea of them and them existing, because technically we are aliens.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, I crossed the border illegally, so that makes me a fucking alien. No,
That's
um,
why I always ask you for your green card and you never have it because I
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, your green card, you working for ICE?
didn't. Let know, but they did ask me questions. I need
Nobody needs
verification.
it. So that's why most of the things we can pinpoint out there. Technically, it's just it's crazy. But then yeah, it's an insane thing to think about space and everything. Because like to us, we are literally a dot in the grand scheme of things. If this is the universe, this is us. Just that little dot right there. This little dot right there. That little
So
dot right there is us.
yeah, and then there's stuff outside of the universe.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like what is out there? Like the idea of it is that the like if you think about the Big Bang, you got to think of it as it's crazy to think about the Big Bang. Like think about something that can make not just that massive amount of energy, but like the ability to expand so rapidly. Like like you're saying. So
So,
what is
what
making
do
that
you
space? Like like it's making itself.
what do you think? Because theoretically, the universe, like thinking of it as a fabric, okay, or even a piece of paper, like it is constantly getting bigger, just like you're doing that, right?
Hmm.
So eventually, it's also thinning itself out. What would happen? What
Do
do
you
you
think
think
it's
will
like
happen at the very
ripping
end?
apart of it? Is it ripping like oh you're thinking about that at the very end?
Like,
So
yeah,
the idea
like it'll either run out and like it'll just stop, or like maybe it'll start ripping itself apart, like you were saying. Like, what do
so
you think?
so we'll pretend like this. So this is the emptiness of nothingness, okay? There's nothing out here. This whiteness is nothing. All right? This little thing is is a singularity of reality. This is our Big Bang before it happens. It is nothing. There's nothing out here. This isn't space. This is not time. This right
The
here.
void.
This is yeah, technically it's the name is the void, but it's technically just an unknown realm of nothing. Now, eventually, uh, the universe has all ingredients to create everything that ever will exist and ever has existed. It is all encapsulated in one moment, all instantly, constantly, and infinitely. So this thing is everything that will ever happen and that has ever happened. It just has a time need a time to start. And nobody knows when it started, but it started. And when it did, it expanded instantly and it created uh it got, like you're saying, it got bigger. Um but here's my question, like so it pushed out the void technically, but is it really pushing anything out or is it imploding? Because significantly speaking, what is pushing out and what is moving away, Like technically yes, it is moving away, and the way reason they know that the universe is constantly expanding is because they look at the positions of stars and see that they're constantly moving away from us. Everything's moving away from each other. Some of them are moving closer to each other, but most of the time everything was at the beginning of everything space, or the singularity pushed everything out and pushed it all the way out. And so like the biggest thing is that you need to know with this concept is that one number one, we will never, ever, ever, ever be able to see another thing. The stars in our night sky are the last remnants of other things that we will know. They will be far out from us that we won't even be able to visit them if we ever go into space or anything. Because if this is us, this is another, say this is a star. Because they're constantly moving this direction, we're constantly moving this direction. There's more and more space becoming in between us. Eventually,
Yeah,
those stars we will never be able to see them again. We'll never be able to interact with them again. We'll never know what happened to them.
that's why. Like my favorite thing to know is, if a star explodes or something, we're not gonna know for a couple
Yep,
thousand years.
yep. Because it's
And
so far
my favorite
away.
thing is like wishing on a shooting star. Like, doesn't make any sense because you're already like 10,000 years too late, my dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Because yeah, you're right. Because so right now, this is here. We're here, and say this is year 5. Okay, it takes 5 years currently where it's at to send a light. All right. So the light from here takes 5 years to reach there. Say 5 years later it reaches you. You're looking at it 5 years in the past. Yeah, like you're saying, you're looking at you. So that's also a really cool thing I like to think about is that we're looking at stars from before, like they're like some of them are millions of light years away, and that means that like if it's say something's like 200 light years away, that means that it's 200 years in the future. 200 million light years away is incalculable for you as a person. You're looking at that universe before it was, you're looking at that star way in the past before it could, before whatever happened. And then, like, currently to this day, it could have already created civilization. They could, there could be another civilization on that planet. That's why I like looking at, like, those Goldilocks systems, the ones that are like Earth, that like have all inhabitable stuff to create life. They're in the right place, the right time. They have the right resources to create life on that planet. And I
So
think about those and I'm like, those are like 20 million light years away. What are they at now? What do they look like now?
yeah, that is so true. But on that note, like you could say the aliens that have visited us so far are like pioneers. Maybe they just
Yeah,
got
like
space
Lewis and
travel.
Clark.
Yeah, like Lewis and Clark, like they just got space travel. Like they came and visited us, but we're far away. But for them, it was only a couple years travel or something.
And
But by the time they
how
made it back home, it was like 1,000 years later.
Yeah, and not even that. Like there's ways to get to here really fast, even faster than light. It's just almost impossible to create those circumstances to do it. It is possible. It's just the universe will not let you do it because it takes a ton of, like we were saying, energy. The universe is all about that energy. The biggest source of anything that will ever exist is energy. And as Einstein predicted with his he believes so. Einstein's theory is basic: E equals mc squared. And if you take that and you actually calculate it, it's energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. So you have to double time the speed of light to turn mass into energy. And this is his greatest creation. He wanted to create a equation that could explain the whole universe. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about energy. Energy is the runner of the world. Not just it's just everywhere. Everywhere that exists takes energy. Plant taking sunlight, sunlight's the energy to that plant. Us being a we as being a carbon civilization, being made out of carbon molecules, like I was saying earlier, you have to be if to create humanity, to create carbon, carbon can only be created from a dying star material. So we are the concept of dying stars. That's why sometimes people will say, you're a dying star. Because you are literally a dying star. Carbon can only be created by dying stars because they can release massive amounts of energy. That's how gold was created too. Is that it was just two big gases of clouds hitting each other, creating creating a star, then that star collapsing on itself, releasing a ton of energy and a ton of gases, new gases that have never been created.
True, true.
That's how meteorites are formed too, because meteorites are formed from things hitting each other and stuff, and that's how we have gold is because a meteorite hit us and was able to release there was some gold in that meteorite and it was able to release it onto the Earth's surface. And I mean, we've already seen that there's been meteor hits on Earth. The planet's not impenetrable. If we create it to be that way, then we could make it impenetrable. But
I wouldn't
that
say that's the whole reason we have gold. Like, because
no.
compressed coal also makes gold.
Well, compressed coal makes diamonds.
Compressed. Well, no, not that. You're right. Something else gives us gold. I can't freaking remember.
I know that you can chemically make gold, but like
That might be what I'm thinking of. The chemically made golds.
yeah,
Uh,
but like as like it being produced on a like huge level, yeah, only big stars colliding with each other can do
yeah.
that, or stars going to supernova. That's how we got all the big elements. Every big element that exists on periodic table is pretty much made from stardust or stars. And there's still a ton that we don't have, like a ton of elements that could exist, that couldn't exist, that we don't know could or would, that could have significantly different effects on the real world applications, like for instance dark matter and dark energy. Nobody knows what that is, but there are pockets of energy lining between us and a lot of other universes. There's this concept, called dark matter, which is literally just matter that is dark. You can't see it. It's there. They know it's there, but it's impossible to see it because it doesn't release light. It doesn't have a reflection. And that's
Yeah.
another
It
thing
also
because
just
like
consumes.
majority of the universe is made from dark matter. Like if you look up what makes most of the universe, it'll tell you like dark energy and dark matter is 68% of the universe, or specifically dark energy is estimated to account for 68% of the
Supplements.
universe, dark matter around 27%, and ordinary matter like stars, planets, and us only about 5%. We take up 5%, 5 pennies on the dollar to everything, to the massiveness of dark energy.
Solid. Dark
So
energy
like,
was so close to being cool.
yeah. Now
It's
if
only
you
one
want,
percent off.
so well, another theory that that big scientists have is dimension theory, or the theory that there are other dimensions on top of each other, planes of reality stacked on top of each other, without us ever being able to interact or know about them. And that's why I like the Flash. When I learned about the Flash and how universes work in the DC universe, it's
Oh yeah, side by
literally,
side, like
yeah, they
stacked.
literally all on top of each other. The only difference is the rotation of the atom. So if an atom's rotation is this way, then they can see that. But if it's this way, then it's in our universe. I was like, that's a badass concept. It's not that bad. It's not that bad of a concept. Imagine that, because an atom is, protons, neutrons, and electrons to create it, and the electrons are all out of the whatever, but the protons and neutrons are really clustered and close together. So, and that they're running around each other really fast over and over and over again. You know, so uh, no, hold on.
Yeah, so if you can figure out the direction, then theoretically
So,
you can figure out what universe you are.
and that's the thing is like, what if it's not even direction? Like, if it's a directionless direction, because we only understand the reality that we live in based on the fundamental things that we understand, which are this. This is the
Yeah,
only thing we understand is
we got our 3D.
3D, exactly. Three dimensions in our reality, which is length, width, and depth. So a box or a sphere is,
That's why most of the things are length times width or depth
mhm,
or anything like that.
everything in our world is defined by this logic. But another thing, like we were talking about, is that another thing that defines our logic of depth. Fucking delete this, delete that.
Get out of here.
Is in my opinion time, an object. We can experience time, but we all are conceived by the idea that we can only go in one direction in time. You can only move forward in time. You can never
Yeah,
move
linear
backwards.
time.
Yeah, so to us, time is linear, but that's not true. Time is actually can be stagnant. It could move. If you were time, say you're a perceptive of a time, okay? You're a time traveler. You are not a person, you are time a time ghost, we'll say. Just something that can move through in and out of time. So to you, as an observer of our time, all of a sudden, say we're walking down a park or something, then all of a sudden everybody starts moving in reverse. Then say everything starts moving back in, order. Then say the universe something happens and it moves all the way back to the beginning of time. And then everything happens again, and then you're walking your dog, you trip, and it moves the time backwards. You wouldn't be able to experience these things differently. To you, all you would see is that you are walking your dog, you trip, and you fall. But say you're another being from another dimension just watching, you're like, holy shit, that guy dropped his book and it turned time backwards for some reason. I mean, that would never happen, but if that did, you wouldn't know because you couldn't see it. But something that is beyond the reach of the time could.
Yeah.
And but that's another thing. So that's another spatial idea when it comes to different spaces is that when people think about space, dimension series, they think about dimension 1, which is length. Uh, they think about dimension 2, which is width. Dimension 3 is depth, and a lot of people assume dimension 4 is time, but that's where people are wrong. It depends on what you're talking about. So if you're talking about math, the fourth dimension is a spatial idea where all possibilities of an object can and will happen in one instant. So a square, so the trap the fourth dimensional cube thing that exists,
Yeah.
and that's also another thing is they think that black holes are a higher dimensional thing. That the reason that that black holes exist is because they're from a different dimension or like a higher dimension than we can understand, and they just we create the universe just naturally creates them because stars implode. Sometimes they make a black hole, and the black hole, it reaches outside of time and space, and maybe it does something beyond that we can't ever understand. But as far as we will ever understand, we will only know here. We can never know beyond the curtain.
I'm just
We
not
can
cool
only
enough
hope.
for that club.
We're not. We're just not cool enough. There's no way we can because you would have to be able to see things faster than light. If you could see something faster than light can see it, then you could technically probably see the fourth dimension. Now, if we go on the physics idea of it, because so mathematically, the fourth dimension is a spatial area where everything can, it's the hypercube idea. But in physics, the fourth dimension is technically time. It's the idea that everything that ever will happen in this scenario. So say this, say this point of view is you as a young baby, okay? This is you as a grown man.
Old, crunched over,
Yeah,
basically dead. I feel.
yeah. And anyways, so you, if
Arms
you
like
were in the
Slenderman.
fourth dimension, you would see all of this encapsulated in one person, one point. So say this is you as this is your eye, okay, or this is you as a person observing. You see this person as they are as an infant, as they are a old man, as they are a person, as they are a thing. You see all of that encapsulated in that one moment. So this all is one extreme moment, all of it. So this little thing, this little thing is just one moment, and that's where you exist. And to an observer that is on the higher dimension sphere, they can see this whole thing play out. And not just that, they can see all things play out. That's when you start getting into the higher dimensions, which are so if time is its own dimension, time encapsulates all of these. So if you think of it as time being in one direction, like you're saying, there's a space time. At the beginning of time, the Big Bang. At the end of time, unknown. In the middle here, us. So this is all our time. Now, if you take all our time and you just shrink it down some,
Just a little bit.
um, just a little bit, uh, as a fourth dimensional being, you could see all this happen at once. No, as a fifth dimensional being. So, fourth dimensional, you would be able to see the persistence of things inside this dimension. The
So,
fifth dimension,
a good way to summarize 4D
mhm,
is like us with dogs or just pets in general. Okay,
Anything. Hmm.
like our no, not even yeah, like any pets. Like our lifespan is generally at least a couple times longer than theirs. Like, with dogs and cats, we have generations of their family,
Hmm.
with just us, especially if we grow up with like that animal. And
Yeah.
then, it's sort of like lizards or something like smaller like that, or like ants and stuff. Like, you're rolling over an ant colony for generations,
Hmm.
like hundreds of years before you die. Like if not thousands of their years before you die.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And as a fourth dimensional being, you would see, like, say you're a fourth dimensional being. You'd go down here, you'd be like, here, let me look at that one thing. You look at George Washington, and you see the history of the United States right there. Just right there, just looking at that one person, you see the whole history of the United States all the way up to whenever it ends, which I don't know when. But basically, a fourth dimensional being, when they see an instance of something in our universe, they will see that instance from the beginning to the end. So, and it could be all perceptual too, because it's all perceptual. We don't know what exactly they would see. Say they see a rock on the ground. They could see the beginning of time from the rock, from the perspective of the rock, where it came from, how it's been there, how long it's been there, how long it's waited till it comes out from wherever it's been, you know. So you can see the birth of the atoms that can create that. So it's a perspective thing. But basically, the fourth dimension, you can see all the universe all in one instance. So
So
that means that all of this is all, or all of this is one instance. This, like I said, this whole thing represents these three things. This whole thing, this whole timeline thing represents all these three advocates and time, but only in one direction. So we'll consider this now. We call this point, right? Now it's kind of like a reset. You reset and you're back to link because this is a link, is it not?
so on it is linked, but random subject change, not complete
Hmm.
subject change, but like time being linear, if it is completely.
Hmm.
Um, what are your thoughts like summarized on time travel? Because logically, time travel you can try like maybe travel forward in time, but you'd only be able to return to the time in which you invented time travel. No time before
Hmm.
that.
It's kind of
Like,
like that. Personally, a spatial subject like you being moved from one space to another like I said, it would take a lot of energy. It is possible. It could be possible, maybe in a different lifetime, but would take a lot of energy to do that.
well,
But
not including energy, just like
information, energy is information, and if you can communicate information through energy, I can see us doing something like that. Say you create like a supercomputer like we are now. Say you create something like that and you make it so that it could see, like, I don't know, we'll come up with some sci-fi shit. Like it can see the future. Like it can't see the future, but it can receive information from energy that is stored in space or is stored in somewhere. And because of singularities, we won't talk about quantum physics. Anyways, say you create that computer. The moment that computer turns on and is functioning, and it is a functioning computer, is a functioning thing, is the time when time travel will be, we will have, technically, I would say, have time travel. And that is something that I recommend. If people are going to time travel, they do. I think that they should make a box that can receive information from the future when through time, using singularities or quantum mechanics, because quantum mechanics says that you entangle a particle to another particle, but then you got the time dilemma still. Anyways, say you do something like that, information would be the best bet, because then you can send back and forth information. So the moment you make the time traveling device, you pretty much have all the information of the future, because the moment that is created, unless some type of thing that happens destroys it, it will always give you, you will always receive messages and information until that point that it is destroyed. But that is the idea of it, and that's even if you're saying like if you can go back in time, because like technically, yeah, technically you can go back in time, especially if you revolve around the black hole. But um, if it'll work and you if you'll survive, it's whole questionable. But and that's the other thing is like because you don't know if you're going back to your time, because say you're splitting off to some other time, then you don't know if you're going back to that original time.
See, I don't know if I would ever time travel realistically, just because the planet's not even going to be in the same spot
No,
whenever you're time
when
travel,
you
and
mhm.
theoretically you time travel from the
Yeah,
spot
if you're talking about
you're at.
e-
You know,
exactly,
like
it's the thing with space. We're constantly moving. We're always moving in one direction. So if we're moving
yeah,
in one direction,
some
then
might go 5 minutes in the future, but that's 5 minutes. I'm either going to be inside of a tree whenever I respawn, or like just in space.
not even that. Exactly, you'll just be in space. You'll be like, okay, I'm gonna respawn with that respawn button. You're back. You're like, why am I in the middle of space? And then you see the Earth coming right at you. You're like, oh shit!
Ruh Raggy.
Like I mistimed it. So it's not
I
just
should have
that.
waited five
It's
more minutes.
it's also about coordination, because you can only tell the coordination of something relative to another thing. The only reason you know that you are away from something is because you exist. If there was nothing around you, you could not tell your relative distance from that thing. If you were by yourself with nothing and no one around you, just space, complete space, nothing around you, you do not know what's closest to you or what's farthest from you. You do not know what speed you're going. You do not even know if you're moving. To you, you think you're standing still. But say you're just right here, then all of a sudden something just passes you just like that, really fast, just
Yeah.
then you'll be like, oh shit, I'm going so fast that I'm not, I can't even comprehend it, because it's so fast next to you that you're like, to you, you're standing still no matter what, but to everything else, you're moving pretty fast. And
Yeah,
that
because
that's
we
just if you can
basically get
have something.
launched.
Yeah, we're constantly being launched. We're moving at 200 2,500 miles per hour in one direction, and we're spinning constantly.
Yeah,
And
so
but
if we just teleported into space, we'd be moving that direction
and exactly,
2,500
because
miles.
unless you could coordinate where you were in what space and what time and what exactly, that's why singularities make more sense, because a singularity is tethered not by space but uh by a flip of either its rotation is this way or its rotation is the other direction.
Oh,
So I
hold
don't know
on
if
one
you know
second.
what singularities work, but the best way to describe it is a singularity is rotation, but you can so we use red and blue. So red, and we'll make a blue one. We'll make a red and black one. Don't matter. But so uh, basically, quantum mechanics is just simply stating that if this is red, this has to be black. Okay. So if this is black, this has to be red.
1 second.
You're good. You're good.
Uh, I missed the whole point before the red, so I missed that. But I have a surprise guest hopping on in a second.
Is homework getting on?
Yeah, I told him to hop on Discord and draw with us and talk about space. All right, what's going on with the red? Start this part over.
So we'll say this. Okay,
Just summarize it
so
real quick.
rotation. Thing, an atom has a rotation, and if say it's rotating this way, okay, that quantum mechanics, whenever something is quantum mechanically tangled to something else, it's basically saying that hey, I if I am red, that means you have to be black. We won't worry about these ones. Okay. If I am red, you have to be black. If I am black, or it won't work. But if this is black, this has to be red. We'll say it that way. But
Okay.
technically, the way it works is that if something is moving clockwise, that means that the other particle is moving counterclockwise. That's why I'm using the black and red subjects instead. Um,
Real quick side
so,
note, that was backwards. This is clockwise, this is counterclockwise.
you know, anyways, so if you're so if this is red, no matter what point you are, if you are so like I said, the only thing that is faster than time, I mean that is faster than light, is quantumly entangled particles, which is the only thing that, as science as we know, has been able to find out is faster than light. Because light moves at how fast is light? Light is very fast. I can't even how fast is light?
Welcome, Homer. How do you do? See you on your PlayStation.
Light
Hey,
is
hey,
we'll
sorry.
rough it up. It's 300 meters per second. Y- Light
Your
moves
dick
at
is 300
300
meters.
meters per
What?
second. That is incalculable to understand as a person how fast light travels. It takes 7 minutes for the light from our sun to reach us, but technically it's about 300 meters per second. So,
Almost as fast as Usain Bolt.
yeah, yeah, shut the fuck up. so, but the thing about entangled particles is that if they are, say, they are 300 million light years away, that means it takes 300 million years for the light from this source to get to this source, 300 million years. If this is flipped, this will automatically flip too. So if you say you switch the we'll do it this way. We'll use
We'll
this
do it
as
your
a
way.
method. So
All the way.
you move that particle, you move this one, yeah, move this black thing. Okay, so if I'm moving this way, you got to move what direction? The opposite direction.
Clockwise. Okay. I see what
Yeah,
you mean.
so you go if you go clockwise, I go counterclockwise. Okay. To me, it looks fucked. It doesn't even. Are you even fucking?
I'm just moving super fast on my screen.
Just go
Looks
slow.
it looks like it has Down syndrome on your screen.
Anyways, so it doesn't look right on mine. Anyways, so say okay, we'll do it this way. So this is the graph. I'm at the bottom. If mine is black, what does yours have to be?
All right. What did you just say? I was not paying
So
attention.
we'll do it this way.
Touch my
So
phone.
if my color is black, yours has to be red. Okay. So if my color is red, what does that make yours?
Black. I feel like I'm playing
That's
in
not
kindergarten.
black. That's red.
This is black. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm on the
You said
graph.
you said if you're red, I have to be black. That is the whole point of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
This is black, is it not?
Yeah, but it just
What are
looks
you
weird.
talking about?
I thought you were gonna move the red off, anyways. But yeah, so no matter what, these even like if this is 300 million miles away, or not miles, but 300 light years away, this the moment that this turns black, this will turn red. And so that's what quantum entanglement is that no matter the distance, no matter what, when those quantumly entangled particles switch, the other one switches too. That's why, quantum computers are being so advanced because technically speaking, quantum mechanics says that like or with the way that the universe works, the way that scientists are trying to use quantum computers is to break very complex codes because if you say something like say my code is someone like 1 million like some string of numbers and letters. We'll say, oh fuck,
Don't let them lie to you. They're using it to mine Bitcoin.
Meh.
yeah. Say this is our stream of code. Okay. No matter what, they basically are trying to say, or they're trying to do, is that if this is your password, they literally say, "Hey, this is your password." Or quantum mechanics will make it your password. Say this is your password, and they don't have that information though. They don't have this information. But all of a sudden, these quantumly particles that talk to each other and that can communicate, God knows how, with the universe itself, they will say, "Hey, this is the password, buddy. Use that to your advantage."
Go for it.
Yeah, that's what they'll say. It's basically because they have to give you an answer. They have to give you the right answer, no matter what. And there's a way to force it. I don't know how. It's a lot more math than I can fucking understand, but they can force it. That's why quantum computers are so overpowered and why people want them destroyed because you can literally, it's that thing from American Dad when they have the North Korean spy in the CIA with Stan. He's like, "Hey, does anybody have any launch codes? Does anybody know where I can find any launch codes?"
Me
That's
and
what
Dave
they're
were looking
doing.
for some launch code.
So, to us as to a normal like scientifical person, they think, oh, oh, look at the greatness of this. And then the military is like, wait a second, is that power?
Hold up.
If you can even get so complicated if you're smart enough, ask it the right questions. It's literally you can think of it as a god. Like literally, a quantum computer can be the idea of a god if you hardwire it correctly. Because
Yeah, that's
if you can,
why so many old films and stuff, like
like,
with the big ass quantum computers, like in like the first ones, where they're huge, they're just asking questions and like they're
yeah,
printing out answers.
because they can print out the right answers. It's like that movie that like the answer to the universe was the number 42. I don't fucking know.
uh, I personally like, for a good example on that one would be like 23 with Jim Carrey. Have you ever seen that movie? It's insane.
23 with Jim
Like
Carrey.
it's not even a comedy. Like it's one of his more serious roles, and it's
Hmm.
so fucking good. Like I recommend it. It it's everywhere he looks, he sees a number 23. Like the universe is made up of the number 23.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
but
Tesla used to say that the universe was made up of numbers 3, 6, and 9.
yeah, but it also brings up like a good like psychology point because like once you convince yourself of something, you're constantly seeing that thing everywhere.
Exactly. It's the
My
psychological
apology.
aspect too. You're good. Download Dark and Darker. We'll have some fun. Trust me. They removed the PvP aspect of Dark and Darker. You made it all You can do PvE, and we've been having fun doing that.
Hell yeah.
It's a lot
Summer,
easier.
have you ever seen 23 with Jim Carrey? I'm pretty sure it's 23.
I have no idea.
If you haven't, next time you come over, we're watching it. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's from
Yeah, that's
Alright,
it right
that's fine.
there.
2007. Are you
Is
watching
it
my stream?
27?
Are you guys streaming?
Yes.
Oh,
Wait,
hell yeah, hell yeah.
Was
did
it
you see my
23 or
stream?
did you say it was 27?
Wait, hold on. Cancel.
Yeah, I saw your screen.
Okay. Movie the number 23.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, watch this movie. It is phenomenal.
Oh, I
Yeah,
fucked up.
It's one of his more serious roles. It
I
is a
might watch
great
it.
movie.
It looks good. It just looks fucking weird.
It's a psychological thriller, and
Yeah.
I want to say he's like you'll understand if you watch it, but like he's reading a book about like the number 23,
Okay.
and like he's playing it out in his head like he's like like whenever you really read a book.
Okay.
So, but if you watch it, like you might have to watch it twice to fully understand it, but
Mhm.
like you'll understand quite a bit once you watch it the first time at least. But it's a phenomenal movie.
Yeah. Okay. Now here's where I'm getting a little where I'm gonna get back on topic. Okay. Level 5. So there is technically, if you're speaking about everything, there is technically five. There's 11, 12 dimensions that exist in reality that as we know it. Um, I don't know about the higher ones. I just know that about the bottom few. I know about the higher ones, but I don't believe them. Like there's literally the 11th dimension or string theory, as it's known as, is or M theory. Is the idea that the way that the universe works are these like big gelatin like substances that hit against each other and create big big bangs. So think of two jellos hitting each other. Every time they touch, that is a big bang that is happening at some point.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's a whole fucking concept. And it has to do with string theory. And I'm like, I don't fucking understand string theory. But it's basically the idea that strings are what atoms are actually made up of and not actual, because nobody knows what atoms are actually made of,
Yeah, I like string theory
or
and
gluons.
like
We
what.
have an understanding, but we don't know what quite is the
Yeah,
material.
I
Is it?
like string theory, but like we were talking about earlier, like it's a lot easier to understand the string theory once you think of the universe as like a fabric.
Yeah. Um.
Like so, like that
But
makes it
so
100 times easier.
so the fifth theory, or the fifth is, we'll say, and I like to say it because I don't know if this is true, but this is what I like to think. Probability. Probability is the factor of the fifth dimension. So, probability states that whenever something makes a decision that is not the same decision that it creates a split reality. And each decision that is made could create a split reality and will make a split reality.
I mean, that one makes the most sense.
Because, well, it makes sense to you as an observer because when you're thinking about humans, you think about the impact of a human, the butterfly effect, which is the idea of butterflies
Bro,
going can
I just I just played Until Dawn, so I understand that part.
yeah. So
So
exactly,
give
it
us
think
your
it's
input in a second.
so like
Huh?
different
So give us your
probabilities.
input in a second.
Yeah, because like different probabilities can lead to different consequences of actions, and not just that, but different aspects of things that will happen. And so the idea is that probability is the idea that
Oh,
things are random. When something is random, it will create a split off of time, and so that's why there's the infinite universe theory is that since the beginning of time, things have been doing things their own way, but that like because imagine that too, because imagine right on top of our universe is another universe, okay? Just right on top of ours is another universe, okay? And these pancake like layers are, oh man, it's cool. So plane one, plane two, plane three, they all, but say something like intersects them. It's the idea of like, well, my idea of like cryptozoology and stuff like that. If there's a point in our space that where things could pop out and come from different universes into our universe, that's a cool subject to get into also. So like things can go in and out of different universes, or like even like just coincidentally do it. Like things just come in and out of universes, and you're like, oh shit. But that's a whole different subject. I'm just basically saying that depending on the outcome of everything, horse people can exist. It's not impossible. It just means that way down the line, some guy thought about having sex with a horse, and it resulted in work.
So,
Well,
uh, a cool thing, like that game with the clones that came out that we were talking about, Homer. Where I was telling you it was more like a survival, kinda, like a survival.
I can't remember.
Well, there's this game where this dude and his crew crashes a spaceship. Okay, it's new. I can't think of the name, but basically he's the only survivor, and he's on a planet where when the sun comes up, he's gonna get cooked, kind of like on Riddick. So
mm,
he's trying to get his ship to move and like go around the planet and avoid the sun.
yeah,
And
constantly.
yeah, so like it's a huge ship, one person can't pilot it, and
The moving
the
castle.
whole thing that they're trying to do is like they're trying to find this one resource that has the ability to do a bunch of stuff, including clone people, and he managed to find some. So you're cloning yourself to help with the ship, but the way it works is, if you need an engineer, then you clone a different version of yourself that took a different path in life and became an engineer that ended up
Oh,
working at the company still. So he clones himself, but the man like insta spawns kinda, and like after the cloning process, and he has the memories of everything that's changed, like he's from another dimension.
so here's
So it's
I'm sorry.
debatable whether they actually just clone or just steal somebody from a dimension and they
Just
just
like
all think
yeet.
they're clones. Yeah, but like that's
Oh,
kind of a cool way to think about it too, because like instead of even if it's not real dimensions, they still
mm.
technically created another dimension to take from, even if it doesn't exist. Like it was a
So
cool it's a cool concept.
my cool concept is this. So free will is what causes this to happen. The fifth dimension to happen is free will. In my opinion, in my personal opinion, I think the fifth dimension is a probability, but I also believe that the universe will cut these off naturally. And the
They
way
just
it
die
does
in
it,
tragic ways.
yeah, we just die in tragic ways. Like not just that, but like not like all the things that have happened to the universe and everything, and to our planet, everything. But unless we can, because so these probabilities are possible, but they can all be wiped away by the extinction of our race. And that's saying if there is aliens or not. If there is no aliens and we're the only thing left, then all our probabilities are gone. Because say we get nuked, well then all humanity's pretty much a goner. If we're all dead, what is left to go out in space and look at the stars and stuff like that?
I believe they're aliens.
And see, and some people believe there's aliens. I mean, I understand.
Tell us why.
Uh, I believe. So go ahead, go ahead. Or well, let me finish this subject, and then we'll talk about aliens
Yeah,
afterwards.
finish that up
Alright,
real
that's cool,
quick
that's
and then
cool.
tell us why.
So, but I believe that the universe will force itself to create chaos to balance itself out. So instead of being able to, like create strandoffs of the universe, our universe will it's like natural. So it's the same thing with the scorpion and the frog, which I love to think about. So the scorpion and the frog is a small tale for kids that basically says, there was a frog, and he told and a scorpion, and the scorpion asked the frog if he could hop on his back and cross the river. And the frog said, n- uh, he would let him, but he couldn't, poke him because they would both die. And the scorpion assured him that he would not do it because they would both die. But when they get through the river, halfway across, the scorpion strikes the frog, and they both die. And that's pretty much the story. But
Yeah,
it's the
life of
idea
betrayal.
that the only thing that has free will is us. Everything before us has been always and will always have been predetermined because a scorpion will always sting a frog if it's riding its back. An animal will always eat a deer if it's in front of it. No matter what has happened before free will, it was not possible. They were all this fifth dimension couldn't have happened until we existed. This whole concept of the fifth dimension, it can only exist because of us, because of our free will. Because if you think about it, not just on that scheme, um, just as the universe, unless there's a being that is sentient, then you can't really start a civilization. You can't conquer planets. You can't conquer the universe. There's no sci-fi. There's no, future for us until you learn sentience and learn that you need to get off your planet to, keep pushing. But that can only happen with us. And I feel like the universe naturally tries to select us to not do that. It's like, hey, I can't deal with this many probabilities, so we're going to do something about it. And that's why I think, we'll never be able to go into like farther than the moon. Because I mean, it is cool that we've been to the moon, but unless we can, sustain life on other planets, we're screwed. This is all we got. But
That's
eventually,
why I believe. That's why I believe we need to go and expand.
yeah, space is unique. That's why you need to go to space. That's why I tell people go to space because or like I believe in space travel. I believe in all that because it's true. Like
It
eventually, the
is
things
true.
in sci-fi movies will be a reality. Not for us. We will never get to see it, but we have to be like the King Caesar or kings in the previous lifetimes where they built like they say, Rome was not built in a day. It was built over hundreds of years. Some of them didn't see it until in their lifetime. Their grandchildren didn't see the finished product that they were making, but eventually they did. And it took hundreds of years after their deaths for it to happen. We will never get to see that. But if we could, if we were smart, we could make it a better future. We could make it, help people go into space. We could expand, but people are like money, problems, humanity. It's because humans are such singular beings. We all think of ourselves and nobody more.
Selfish bastards.
I know. All right, anybody
Whoa.
up for Dark and Darker? No.
Uh, Hummer, tell us about your butterfly effect stuff real quick, and then aliens.
Oh, my game.
No,
Yeah,
just
like,
you're
do
right.
you have any thoughts on like just like the butterfly effect or like any of those things?
Oh, no, not really.
No.
See, that's where I think like if we can get that singularity idea and make it for time travel, then we could, be like, what if they were like, hey, heads up, in 50 years, Christ comes back. I'd be like, yo,
I guess I'll see if I can make it to 80. Why not?
right? And they're like, hashtag 2075 is gonna be the year.
Can't wait. Prayer emoji.
You said that shit back to them. They send you the XD. Dude, that would be sick if that happened. If like, you're talking to your like future because like say you created it secretly. You created like a machine where you could talk to yourself through time from the future. Well,
The magic conch.
yeah. You'd make so many jokes. You'd be like, "Hey, the Packers win this year. Like 50 million on Packers." They're like, "I'm just joking."
Motherfucking now I'm down like in debt 300 mil. What did
They're
you
like, "Now you
do?
know how." They're like, "Now you know how it feels." You're like, "Yo."
It's still early for me, old me.
Yeah.
Can afford not to pay it right now. You
And
can't.
then fucking 30 years in the future, you're like, "I'm gonna do the joke."
You're like, you know, it ended up being pretty funny. Let's do it. I regret it, but not enough to not do it.
But that's why I like that. If you watch Rick and Morty, there's that episode, the snakes.
Oh
You
yeah,
has it like
yeah.
he sits there, he thinks. I love that he thinks in that moment. He has to remember in this moment I have to come back and do this, and so he comes back. And he just like walks out of nowhere, comes up, gives them the shit, and he's like, "Here you guys go. We're going back."
It's time travel.
Yeah,
Go for it.
exactly. Yeah, he just fucking literally. That's how like. That's why people say like, if you're a time traveler, tell yourself in the future, like remember this moment, and then that moment, that many million, or not millions, that many years later, you come back and you're like, "Hey, what's up? You did it." So we're all
What?
waiting. We're all waiting for that guy. We're all waiting for our version of ourselves that are like, "Hey, you did it. High five, fist pump."
And if they
Yeah.
ain't came yet, that sucks.
Now another thing that I thought like before we get into aliens, one other thing that I thought that would be crazy, that would be possible, is sending your memories. If we could figure out, say, not me as a person, but somebody figures out a way to save memories, okay? Like figures out the brain completely. We understand our brain completely, like understand how it works, how it functions, and we know like what neurons do what. So what you do is you send, like I said, the information as energy. And at one point in your life, you shoot yourself with a lightning bolt. And that is the point at which you can send those electrons to your head. So technically, you'd be time
Right.
traveling your brain, but not yourself.
That would
And
be interesting.
that'd be a better concept. That's a more realistic concept in my mind. Because sending particles like mass in atoms across space and time is a lot more like, that's impossible. But sending, your information from your mind to the information to your mind currently, then that's a more realistic subject, because, you know, it would also like, but you'd have to be like, oh, do I have the capacity to keep that, keep that knowledge, or what knowledge should I send back? And then there's a great Flash segment that had, no, it wasn't Flash, it was Fantastic Four, and it was a great one. It was like there's like this whole civilization and universe that this girl had to like fight and live in, and she could only send back 4 words to her past self, and she sent them back, and those 4 words could change the whole course of the universe, or of the future. And she sent the right words because they fixed it. But it's that concept. Like, what words could you send back to your head 10 years from today, and it would change your whole world? That concept. That's a loving concept. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't do it, dumbass.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's not worth it. Or just, like literally, you could like just think about, like, if you could go back and you tell yourself something, give yourself a warning. Would you still make the same mistake again?
Probably.
Yeah, I did. I
Especially if
fucking
it's
did.
a vague warning.
Oh, it was a very like, I had a one time where I had a premonition, and it was a great premonition, and it changed my whole life forever. And I probably should have listened to the premonition. Because when it happened, I was like flabbergasted, because I told myself, I was like, if this happens, then that means this, and I have to, then I have to change. And that's if that even happens. So it happened, and I saw what happened, and I was like, yo, the universe is telling me to fucking leave that bitch alone.
Just trying to help a brother.
It was. I was thinking like, that's why I'm like, what if you could send yourself a signal? You're like, hey, don't do that. I still fucked up though. Literally, I literally was like, it's that moment when you're like, you ask God for a sign. You're like, he throws wood at your fucking face, and you're like, it's the other thing.
Too bad I can't read.
Too bad I can't read.
Me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Like, awesome. Thanks for the advice.
No,
Proceeds to catch everything on
I'll
fire.
tell you later. I'll talk to you later about what that premonition was. But it was a real premonition. I'm not even lying. like I told myself this happened, and I saw something that, and then that, and then I fucking would change my life, and I didn't. But I should have listened. I was giving so many opportunities.
It's okay. You're gonna ignore it the next time too.
Yeah,
So will I. So will
yeah.
Homer.
No matter what tells
Yeah,
you
I will.
what, you'll be like, but it's pussy. And you're like, hey,
But
it's
it's
not worth it.
a win's a win.
A win's a win.
Um, on time travel, real quick. Have you guys ever seen Fire Force?
Fire Force, is that the anime?
I have not.
Yeah, the anime.
I'm not.
Okay. So, what about Soul Reaper?
Nope.
No? Okay. So, Soul Reaper, completely different universe, different time frame, um, everything. Was made years ago. Fire Force started a couple years back. I think recently season 3 came out, and I was watching it. And,
Mhm.
like, so, same creators that made both of the animes, but, um, technically they're different universes, but it's been confirmed that
Oh, you're
they're the
talking about
same.
that thing.
Yeah, that one.
Soul Eater and Fire Force.
Yeah, Soul Eater. My bad. But
I was like,
but
nah.
yeah,
When I heard
but yeah,
that, they're
they
like, yeah, it's real.
it's been confirmed that it's the same universe, and like the main character from Fire Force is like the god of the Soul Eater universe. Okay, and with what's came out in the anime, you definitely would have never guessed that. And as far as I know, what's came out in the manga, like you can kind of guess it, but you wouldn't have put that together, like because they're nothing alike. But watching season 3, like it's already been established that Shinra, the main character, can time travel. Um, but in this one, he like the concept of the show is people like spontaneously combust and they
Yeah,
become like fire zombies.
yeah.
Okay. So Fire Force are firefighters that basically fight the fire zombies and then put the fires out.
Hmm.
Like, and the
And
reason this
totally, there's a
happened
whole different fucking concept of just eating souls. What?
exactly, like it's a whole different thing, and in
But
that
they're
time,
switching.
like, and in the Soul Eater time frame, it's like
They can turn into weapons.
yeah, they can turn into weapons, and like in the human world in that time frame of the anime, they're in like um 1840s or so, or whenever the Jack the Ripper was going on, the 1700s. I can't remember,
Uh-huh.
but they're in like the Jack the Ripper time frame because they're in old England or old London.
Uh-huh.
Whenever they go back to like the human world, okay. So that that time frame and that universe is way different than this time frame in this universe because like he goes back in time before the Great Cataclysm, which basically is them merging the Adola universe, which is a fire universe, with
Oh.
ours. And the whole reason it didn't work the first time, which caused a great cataclysm and like destroyed the world and everything started over, was because they didn't calculate pi yet. So they have mathematical reasons and everything on how this has happened. And he goes back in time before that happened, before there was spontaneous combustion or even the Adola coming in, like at all, really. And it was literally real life. Like the universe before all of that was literally real life. Like it was just showing pictures of like real life,
Really
just
real
slightly
people? Like,
animated.
not. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so it was still
like
animated?
well, some of it was slightly animated whenever it like zoomed in on like actual faces, so it kind of looked like CGI almost instead of
Hmm.
animation. But like it was showing like real pictures of real buildings that showed like real New York and like real LA and like
Ah,
real pictures of like everything.
that's a
So
good
it
concept.
was crazy because like it completely changed reality whenever the cataclysm happens. And then whatever happens in this universe, which is currently the great cataclysm again, depending on what happens. So I guess if it happens again, then it creates the Soul Eater universe probably. Like I don't know,
Mm,
but it's it has three complete different realities in the same universe technically.
fine.
Uh just and they're all in completely different time frames, cuz like technically the universe before the great cataclysm was maybe us right now, and
Hmm.
Fire Force is way in the future, and then Soul Society or Soul Eater is like 200
What?
years ago for us.
Yeah.
It's weird. And it also like in that aspect it disproves like
Did it
the
show
linear
anything from
time.
Soul Eater? Does it just like show the death from Soul Eater? It's like, hey, this exists, and you're like, oh shit.
No, it didn't show anything from Soul Eater because it went to the time before this. Soul
Oh,
Eater
okay.
supposedly takes
Oh,
place after everything in Fire Force.
oh.
So that's what makes it crazy is because Soul Eater's timeline, like in the human world, is before us, but before the Great Cataclysm and Fire Force, it's probably us about right now. So if time is linear, then it goes from us to Fire Force, and then it restarts back to Soul Eater, or somehow it went from us to Fire Force, and then it jumped to Soul Eater because like something got restarted or something. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
but
We
Yeah.
just won't know until it comes out.
like, yeah. But that was the first time I've seen like something like that in an anime. Like I've
Yeah.
seen plenty, like a couple like movies and stuff use IRL stuff, but
Uh-huh.
or like live action stuff, but nothing
Yeah.
like that,
Or
and
memes,
incorporated
you
into
know.
like actual real life. Yeah, or memes.
I love when SpongeBob used
Hey
to do that.
Gavin,
Yes. What?
you're fishy.
Yes.
Uh, have you heard about the game that it was a normal video game, but it also had TV episodes incorporated into it.
Ah,
It's called
Maybe.
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break? I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel
a
like
good
I have
fucking
heard of
game.
that. No. Is it an
Wait, it
older
has
game?
Yeah, like maybe 2013ish, somewhere around there.
the Quantum Break. Is
Oh,
it
okay,
that
I'm
card
sure I
game?
probably have heard of it.
No, it's an actual action game, action story driven.
Quantum Gate?
Like, you'll play a chapter of the game, then you'll watch like a little
Oh, okay.
episode, live action episode of just events and shit. Then you'll play again, then you'll watch another episode.
It's like God of War. God of War,
God of War.
the new series. Man, that shit's like a movie, like a 16-hour movie.
Hmm.
It's a game, but it's fucking. You can watch that as a movie, and that shit is still beautiful.
Which one?
But both of them, God of War, the Ragnarok, and the one
We're talking
before it.
about 2018 and Ragnarok.
Yeah, it's just a
Oh, okay.
movie. It's just a whole ass movie. I swear to God. I've never played the game, but I know the whole storyline.
I played the first one and maybe half of the second one.
Man, it's great if you love a good dad and father fucking
Boy.
movie. Boy,
This doesn't look
because
like space.
he doesn't call him boy in the second one because he's a man now. He's a man.
He's a man.
Adult. Yes, Pa.
I was just showing this picture off because I like my picture. This is the picture
Has
of that.
nothing to do with space.
This is a
You're full of.
Generation
This is
One
clickbait.
organic seed
I'll give
holder.
you space.
This is a great drawing.
This is pure clickbait to show off your own personal things.
Yes,
You're
this is the thing.
lying.
But look
Lying
at
to your.
it. It's so cool. Look at this thing right here. This little thing. The extension
I got some
seed
organic
ejector.
seeds for you to hold.
Organic seed. Shit, I'll fucking use this or generation one organic seed holder and I'll hold them.
Damn right you'll hold them. You'll hold all my seed.
God damn it. But this is cool. I like this thing. It looks cool. Okay, now we're deleting it. I'm heading off of this thing. I
All
was
right.
gonna show off my other drawing though. I'll show it off on spell table, but not public.
I don't want to get on spell table just to see your drawing.
You're not gonna get
My
on
God.
spell table. I'm not trying to show you. I'm trying to show the YouTubers.
You could have just done what you just did and like randomly throw it on the drawing paper, you know?
Yeah, but I don't have a picture of it. I just got the I only sent you the picture.
Hey, maybe take a picture of it and throw it on here, then we can both draw on it. Eh? Eh?
Yeah, but I
Eh?
don't have a
Eh?
picture.
Whip your fucking phone out. What do you mean?
I want to.
You're setting your phone up for spell table to show your drawings off instead of clicking a fucking button to take a picture of it
No,
and then put it on your computer for 3 seconds.
actually, hold on. I could hold on. I could just. Oh yeah, hold on. Wait a second. I could. No, 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 don't cancel my stream.
Wow, should be
We
called
can
them out.
You're
do
like a
this.
woman.
Shut up. Camera and did we just take a picture of it? Where is that bad boy? It's down here.
Sets up whole camera stand to show it off, doesn't know where it is immediately. Me too,
It
though.
was right next to me.
Ka-chow. Ka-chow. Ka-chow.
Kachui.
Ka-chow. Ka-chiga.
Okay. No.
I think I
Don't
started
want to
playing
watch me.
Skyrim again a few days ago.
I saw.
Here's a whole
How's that
a
going?
whole.
Is it base Skyrim?
With DLCs and most of the creations. Well, some of the creations, I guess.
Nice.
I've only done the companions quest line so far.
But this is just as far as I've
So you're
gotten
not.
with it so far.
You're a Hizzard wary.
You're a
I'm a
Hizzard
what?
worry. And so it's a gigantic wizard fucking like with different things fighting whatever. I don't know. It's a whale with a thing. I don't know if that ship's on its
That's
back or
great.
if it's just bad. I just drew it bad, but it's not supposed to be on its back, but now it is.
My good God, damn it, Gavin.
What the? You're a Hizzard wary?
Yes, that was
Have
fucking
you seen
great. Oh.
my drawing of my wizard? Look at it, Homer. Look
Yeah,
No.
at it.
he whipped his wizard out. Look at it.
How do
Look at
I
his
look
wizard.
at it?
It's my
Go
wizard.
to Discord.
Yeah, go to Discord.
I'm not, I don't. That means I have to turn my computer on.
No,
Hop
no,
on
no.
your phone then. Just
Look
click.
at it.
You should be able to see it if you just click on the voice chat.
Alright, give me a second then. Let me leave on my PlayStation.
All right.
What do you think those? I don't
Wait,
know.
why
I
did
don't even care.
he could have just opened his phone? I don't know. Yeah, a little
Anyways,
color. He's looking a little pale.
he looked fucking sick. I like the way I drew him. Like I was really fucked up when I drew that. I didn't like. I drew these things afterwards, the little ones. But that big ass fucking wizard, because he's supposed to be huge. He is supposed to like these things are should be way smaller in size to him. But that wizard, I
Oh,
don't even know what happened. I just
oh,
got
oh,
really, really high and I just started drawing. I was playing a lot of Dark and Darker stuff.
hold on.
Are you able to see it?
Sorta. Not really. I need to fucking make my phone flip here. Uh,
That was hot.
Anyways,
Sounded
Never
quite
mind.
warm too.
I figured it out. Oh shit, you're right, Gavin.
Nice. You're a hazard wary.
You're wizard wary.
I'm a
Uh,
what? You're a hazard. I'm a what? You're a hazard wary. I'm a wizard. Yes. I have to watch that video now. I haven't seen that in forever.
Oh, great.
You're a wizard, Harry.
what?
Huh.
I'm a what? Damn, I forgot this video is 3.5 minutes long. I ain't listening to this whole thing, but
No, but no, like I saw that wizard in my head. I was like, that's a
You're a
fucking badass.
wizard, Harry. I'm a what? Harry, you're a wizard. I'm a what? A wizard, Harry. I'm a wizard? Yes, Harry. You're a wizard. But I'm just Harry. Well, just Harry. You're a wizard. But I'm just Harry.
I'm just
No,
Harry.
just Harry. You are a wizard. Listen here, Hagrid. I'm just Harry. No, Harry. You are a wizard. I'm not
I
a
don't even know
wizard,
what I'm
Hagrid.
listening
I'm just Harry. Listen, Harry.
Have you never
You're
seen
a
this?
wizard.
to.
Yeah,
No.
You're
Hagrid, I'm
disgraced.
just Harry. Harry, for God's sake, you're a wizard. A wizard? I'm just Harry. No, just Harry. You're a wizard. I'm not a wizard, Hagrid. I'm just Harry. No, just Harry. You're a wizard.
You're our.
I'm not a wizard, Hagrid. Harry, you are a wizard. Listen here, Hagrid, you fat oaf. I'm not a fucking
I dropped my
wizard.
fucking thing.
For
Jeez.
God's sake, Harry, what's with this language? You're a fucking wizard. I don't give a fuck, you fat, hairy bastard. I'm not a fucking wizard. Listen, Harry, you're going to go to Hogwarts and do spells and shit. And you'll be fucking pleased about it. I don't want to do your fucking spells, you basket case. Stick it up your fucking dick hole.
Damn.
My fucking what? Hagrid, you're pushing me
what?
over the fucking line.
Why is he talking
no.
Scottish?
You are a wizard. You're gonna go to Hogwarts. You're gonna do spells. You get a wand. You get a fucking owl. It'll deliver your mail. Deal with it, you twat. I'm gonna fucking put my dick in the owl. I done that when I was younger, and that was a bad move. You are a wizard. I'm a what? I'm a wizard, Harry, for fuck's sake, listen to me. Hagrid, I've been through this. I don't give a bloody fuck what you think. This is not negotiable. You come with me, you specky bull haircut fuck. Small dick, skinny cunt, eat more wanker. I'll fucking say you're being on fire. Oh, man, you little specky cunt, square going. I'll fucking burst you. Right, you little wankstein. If you don't get your act together, I'm gonna drag you to Hogwarts. You get a wand, you get an owl that'll deliver you a shitey meal, and that'll be that, and you'll enjoy it, you shinky. I'll fucking gnaw your arm off, Hagrid. Listen, you.
Your arm off, Hagrid.
Slap you across the face like a little bitch. I'll pump you silly. Come on down, you cunt. Suck my pixie dick, you chubby coon. I'll rupture your fucking anus with my massive bear cock. I'll rip your giant dick off and bash you across the jaw with it. Let's go right now. Bring it on, you little...
Oh my god.
I can't believe
Oh.
you've never seen this. This is like
Man.
core memory type of stuff in school.
Holy shit. Alright, I'm getting off this thing.
All right. I sent it to you, so you have it forever on Snapchat now.
Well, no, that's my drawing of a wizard.
I'm a what?
Shut up.
You're a wizard, Wary.
I don't give a fuck.
You are a wizard.
I'm old. No, I'm just Harry.
You're just Harry. You're a wizard.
Yeah, no, fuck that, man.
You go to Hogwarts. You gotta get a fucking owl. They'll deliver you a shiny mail, and you go like it. I'll norm you fucking normal.
I'll know you fucking. That's some stupid shit. Right.
Alright.
I'm getting all dark and darker.
Sounds kind of gay.
If you're a man, you'll do it the same.
What?
If you're not gay, you'll do it.
Do what?
Get on dark and dark.
I don't
Anyways,
have it downloaded.
that'll be it for the stream. Yeah.
We ended on a classic 13-year-old video.
Yeah.
Good luck, everybody.